Women at the forefront, and today we will be focusing on women and investments. And to help me with this discussion, we have the pleasure of having one Faith Minor in studio with us. She is an investment analyst working with Cyton Investments. Karibu sana, Faith.
Thank you very much for having me.
She has such pretty glasses. You know, we glasses people, we always, tunajuana kwa vilemba. Well, karibu sana.
Asante.
Thank you for being with us this morning.
Okay.
All right, so we want to quickly dive into the discussion. Looking at the society as a whole, women are looked at as a special group. Women and children are considered a special group, so that when it comes to venturing out on their own, people don't always have as much confidence in women as it should be expected.
Yeah.
Why should this be the situation, given in this time and age we're living in?
I think mainly it's a culture issue.
Yeah.
Given the history that women haven't been on the forefront of matters, we've always been the people who are in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah.
You're not the one going out to look for food. So all our roles have been seen as minor roles over time, but this has changed over time, and we have seen it changing. And I think going forward, it's something we'll see actually turn around.
Yeah.
But it has taken a while, and it's probably going to take a while as well. Yeah.
But as women, do you also think we have contributed to this by just sticking and bending with the status quo? It's not just all culture. We've actually allowed it.
Partly yes and no.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been supported properly for us to know where we stand. Yeah. And if you have seen over the years when people started talking about the girl child and supporting the girl child, we have come a long way. And I think it was just about changing how we think about ourselves, because the culture and society has instilled these things. We think that women shouldn't do this, or women should do this. This is how you should walk, or this is where you should work, and so on. So without us unlearning these things, we wouldn't have been in a position to be able to step forward and say we can actually be able to do these things. So it's partly us, but it's something that women are ready to unlearn. Yes, and even with support from other people who have already done it, I think we can be able to even do better. And
now the boy child is complaining that the boy child is being left behind.
Yeah.
Women are just breaking that glass ceiling and going for it. You are a woman. By that, you are phenomenal in all ways possible. Remember, the conversation does continue on Twitter, so keep talking to us. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya. We're talking about women and investments right now. So, just from an investment analyst point of view, what would you consider as a good investment? Not just for the woman especially, but as a good investment, just that cuts across board. What constitutes of a good investment?
A good investment is an investment that is able to give you returns as per your expectations.
Okay.
Remember, everyone has their different expectations. When you're putting money somewhere, you have your own expectations. So yours are different from what I have. So what you consider a good investment for you might not be a good investment for me based on our expectations in terms of return. But as long as that investment is able to meet your expectation, then that should be a good return. Investment.
As long as it's able to give back, the principal and more.
Yes.
Now, for women, is there a certain area that you would consider this is definitely viable for you to just go on, because you will thrive, girl?
I wouldn't consider that there is one investment that is specific that works for women, because when it comes to money, everyone has the same money. Women have the same money as men have. I don't think there is one that is specific that you can say women should invest in this and shouldn't invest in this. It's just being knowledgeable about all the investment opportunities that are there and being able to understand why I would want to invest in one opportunity and not the other.
Yeah.
And mainly it's because of either your risk perception or what kind of return you're looking to get, or even the amount of money you have. Those are the things that would help you make the decision on where to invest.
So you would agree with the statement that investment knows no gender?
Investment knows no gender.
Over and beyond, investments know no gender. So if you are a woman, want to go into the transport industry, go. If you want to go into the farming industry, go. All that. You have the potential to go in whatever industry you so choose to go.
Yeah.
We're just having a talk in regards to the cyberspace, and there's not many women in that side of the divide. But you know what? Break that glass ceiling. Go for it. Now, before you go into any investment, before you invest your money anywhere, the things that you need to bear in mind, the skills you need to like acquire. What are your thoughts in regards to that before you go into any investment? How do you prepare yourself for that journey?
Before you go into any investment, there are a number of things you need to know. One, you need to know what amount of money you need to get into an investment, because there are different investments require different amount of capital. If you're going to start a business, if you're going to invest in equities or shares, you'll require different amount of capital for different investments. Number two, you also have to know the risk of that investment, because every investment has a different risk. And the risk, we define risk of an investment as the possibility that you're not going to get the return that you're expecting.
Does that, is that based on the certain amount of time or just generally?
Generally.
Oh, okay.
So, we know when you invest, you're making a risk, because you're putting your money somewhere and saying, I'm expecting this amount of money back. But there's also the risk that, or the possibility that you won't get that return. So you have to consider that. And number three, you also have to consider the return that you're looking to get. People do invest because of various reasons. So you might be investing for the sake of your retirement, or you might be investing for the sake of the education of your children, or for your own sake. So you have to consider the return you're looking to get, and make sure that that return is able to cover your needs, or the reason why you're investing.
You're going into the
the other thing you have to consider is the length of time you're looking to invest. Some investments are good for people who want to invest for a short period of time. Some are good for people who want to invest for a long.
So the end goal is really important.
Yes, the end goal of why you're investing is important, because if you invest, for example, if I was to invest for my retirement, I have maybe a few more years before, a lot of years before I retire. So it would be okay for me to invest in a long-term investment. But if, for example, maybe my dad was to invest in his retirement, he doesn't have that long to go. So he would look for a shorter term investment. So those are things you have to consider.
So you have mentioned capital, number one. Number two, consider the risks involved. Number three, the returns you're looking to make. Number four, the time you're willing to put in. And of course, number five, the end goal. The end goal and the time are tied together. You cannot separate the two, because the end goal is dependent on the time that you're looking to invest, that you're having in mind. Now, before you go into any business as well, before you just take this chunk of money that you have been saving and saving and saving, there are those strategies that, just cut across board when it comes to how you invest. Maybe what would be your advice in regards to the strategies that one needs to employ, especially for, you are focusing on women? What strategy, strategies you would need to employ when you're going into any investment?
I think the most important one is, one, you'll have to have information.
So information.
You shouldn't invest or put your money anywhere before you have done your research properly and know what is the performance of this investment I'm going to put my money in. So you do your research properly, have the information, talk to people who have already been in that investment and how it has been performing, and what is the risk and what is the outlook. There is always someone who has been there ahead of you. So take your time and learn about the business or the investment you're looking to get into. Number two, diversify, or what we say, don't put all your money or your eggs in one basket. So it's important that you don't take all your savings and put all of it in one investment or in one business, because remember what we talked about, the risk. If this doesn't work out, then it means you'll lose everything you had invested. So nobody's looking to do that. So probably I'd invested my retirement money, and I'm looking to get returns for me or for someone when they retire. Or I'd invested money, I'm expecting to fund their education for my children, for example. If I had put it all in one investment and then it doesn't work out, then it means the education for my children will not be funded, or my retirement will not be funded. So there's what we call diversification. So you have to look at various investment opportunities that are
you can
there.
Take on.
And what usually advice is that consider the risk, the length, the things we talk about, and make sure that you have diversified your investment across board. So if you're investing, you have money, you can invest some of it in a risky investment, which is likely to give you a higher return in a shorter period of time, possibly. And another part of your investment, you can invest in a lesser risky,
a more safe environment.
Yes, but you'll probably have lesser return than in your, just diversify just to make sure that you're covered across board. Yeah.
Kakinuka, you will be good. At least you not lose all your money. And just quickly before we move on, this whole question of Bitcoins, we're living in a time where, especially for the older generation, this is from experience. I have heard of so many of them who are just taking up whatever savings they have and just buying Bitcoins. How safe is that? Or advisable in the first place?
I don't know much about Bitcoin, I have to say that. Yeah. So I wouldn't be in a position to advise on how its performance and so on. But taking all your investment, all your savings, or all your money and putting it in one investment has never been a good idea. So if you want to try out a new investment, it's always good to start small and say, I'll take this a little bit, especially if it's a new investment, and see how it performs. And if it performs well, then you can usually use whatever returns or interest or you get or earnings you get from that investment and reinvest it. Yes. So that's a good strategy to actually use instead of taking all your money and putting it in one portfolio or one investment that you don't know how it's going to perform.
So in as much as the deal looks so good, you should always think twice. Don't just put your money in there when you're not sure, or you may be sure, but it's safer to just have some set aside backup in case things go south. You will not fall flat on your face. Now, when it comes to you as the person, you as the woman, before you decide, let's say you want to venture into a risky business, or rather not even, it doesn't have to be risky. There are those skills that a person needs to acquire that cut across the business, in terms of how you handle your money, meetings, the business and client relations. What are some of the skills that you'd actually advise a woman out there to these are skills that you need to take on if you haven't already, to just help you in the business and then the entrepreneurial side of the divide?
I think especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, there are basic things that people need to learn. And some of them include just understanding the legal issues around your business. So how to start a business, how to register your business, when to pay my taxes, what are the penalties of not paying taxes, anything that is legal or that relates to the legal, the legal issues about your business. The second thing is about taxes, because a lot of people get in trouble because of not paying their taxes and or not knowing when they should pay their taxes.
Do you think people actually understand the tax obligations that are there in our nation as it is right now?
I think a lot of there needs to be a lot of civic education when it comes to when it comes to people understanding what it takes for you to be able to pay tax.
Because even filing returns is a hassle for most.
Yes, exactly. And these are things you can actually learn very simply by just Googling, and you'll find someone who has actually given out this information and you're able to understand it. And then number 3, it's how to handle your accounts. Because some people are not able, you may not be able to employ an accountant. So it would be,
especially when you're starting.
When you're starting out, it would be very important for you to just be able to do basic accounting for your business. It doesn't have to be the deep accounting we see with big corporations. As long as you can be able to calculate your profit or loss at the end of the year, you know where your asset stands, where your liability stands, and so on. I think those are some of the basic things that people need to understand, and as well as handling your things like inventory, you have to deal with that, and which are basic. And there are a number of people who are willing to, or people who train on these things. For example, at Saiton we have what we call wealth management training, and we offer these.
What does that entail?
It entails a number of things, either relating to personal investment or business investment. So we sometimes train on things like financial planning, wealth management, estate planning, and so on. So it may not relate directly to the business, but when it comes to issues of personal investment, then it actually helps. And there are other institutions that also help with these minor things about starting a business and what you need to know. So just looking for the right people who are offering the
what you actually need.
Yes.
Now, in terms of even those basic accounting classes and skills that you need to acquire, do you guys offer them, that people can actually come and learn?
At Saiton we have what we call the Entrepreneurship Hub, the eHub. So it's an annual program that runs, and what we do, we take up a number of people and we take them through a 12-week training program where we are able to train you on basic entrepreneurship skills. So we'll talk we'll talk to you about these things, that how to do your taxes, how to handle the legal issues of your business, how to raise funds for your business, how to do your accounting for and your books for your business, and so on. Yes.
So all those classes are actually there. You say they're done annually?
Yeah, it's an annual, because it's
12 week.
Yeah, it's part of our CSR. So it's an annual 12-week program. Sorry, where we take on people, we vet, because we have a lot of applications, so we have to vet them, get a number of people join, and then we take them through the program.
All right. So if you have been wondering where you can go to get, this training, they are there. I'm sure you'll be giving more information in your social media platforms. But at this point, give us your social media handles for your organization. Guys can also continue following you and knowing more about what you guys do.
On all our platforms, or social media platforms, it's Site on Investments. Yeah.
So just check them out and shoot those questions if you have them, to just get more clarification for what you don't understand here. Now, as when you're looking to just start any investment, there needs to be a starting point. Where do you think that should be?
I think the first thing you do is understanding your goal. So you have this amount of money, for example, that you're going to invest. So you have to know what your goal is. So as we said, your goal can be either to increase this money for you to be able to fund your education, to fund the education for your kids, to fund your retirement. Always have an end goal for your investment, because if you're investing without an end goal, then you can actually just invest for any reason.
So the end will justify the means.
Yes. So you have to know what your end goal is before you invest, and once you understand that, then you will have to weigh the options of where to invest in. So remember, we said some investments will give you better return than others, some will take a longer time to mature than others. So whatever your end goal is going to inform all these other decisions on where to invest your money and for how long, and what investment opportunities to take up.
All right. So as long as you have the end goal in mind, you should be able to be at a proper place to just start the business. And it also dictates how you carry yourself along the business, and how you just handle the business as a whole. Now, for women who are just looking to go into investments and they are afraid of even just taking the first step, what would be your advice to them in just being able to be bold enough to just move forward with that business idea that they've been writing on those 2 notebooks?
Is that your money won't grow if you don't invest it.
Yeah.
So you will either sit with it, just look at it as a saving, but without taking the bold step to invest your money, then your money will not grow. And if you want to see your money grow, then you have to take the risk of taking that investment.
All right.
Yeah.
So whatever risks are there, they're not just tailor-made for women, they're tailor-made for everybody. So don't be afraid that since you're a woman, you might not, be at par with your peers in the same industry. So just take on all those opportunities that are there to just build yourself, because money knows no gender, investments know no gender. And then just from your point of experience, what would you say has hindered most women from taking on these investment opportunities?
I think the biggest, if you look at statistics, more people actually use more men use their money to invest as compared to women, but mainly because women take up, even when they take up loans or when they get their money, what they use it for is home development. They have to buy clothes for their kids, so that you'll find women spending more of their money on this home-related issues, while men are spending... That
require daily expenses?
That require daily expenses, as opposed to men who don't get to take up these responsibilities. And I'm not blaming it on men. I think it's a societal issue where we expect the man is the provider, so they're allowed to even do the investments as the woman takes care of the home. Yeah, so I think that is one of the issues that has hindered women from investing mostly.
So that's actually very, very true when you think about it, because that is what most women actually do. You are in a chama, you get your merry-go-round, you buy a new banner. If it was the man, he would just go and buy, maybe start depositing for a kashamba somewhere.
Exactly.
And I think that is something that needs to be changed. So what do you think needs to be done to just help change this mentality, this status quo that is there in the society that is so gripping, that is hard even for just people to let go of?
I think it's important for women to be told that it's okay to have their own money.
And who is going to tell them this?
I think us. Yeah, the media as well, and people who have already done it and it's working for them. So it's okay, yes, to support your family, but
You need to
even
look
better
beyond.
when you have your own money, you know. So
Yeah.
if your husband is actually putting away some money for a kashamba, you can
Yeah.
also do the same thing. It doesn't always have to be about your family and everyone else who surrounds you. Can make it about yourself as well. So if it's that merry-go-round, if it gets to you, 1 month you can use that money to actually put it aside for an investment. Yeah, and it feels really good when you have your own cash. You don't have to ask for money to go do your nails or do your hair, right? So it's really nice. It's even fulfilling for women. So understanding that they can get their own money and do investments for their own without having to rely on men, then that would take it take us a step further. And this also applies for women who don't even rely on men. So if you're single, for example, don't use all your money on buying clothes and makeup and doing your hair and shoes, which is all nice. We all want that. Take some of it and put it aside for investment. Yeah, as much as maybe you look forward to maybe in future, maybe getting married and someone to support you, for example, that's what you want. It's also important that you also have your
setup.
Your setup on your own, be independent, yes. And this puts us ahead even further when it comes to the challenges we're talking about that women face. You'll find that most of them is because we have relied on men for a very long period of time.
Accepting to be the ones in the back seat.
Yes, and being the ones to receive help or support. So if you're able to actually help ourselves and support ourselves, then we get at the same level or at par with the men.
And ask those questions. Don't just accept what is bestowed upon you, what you are told, what the society requires of you. Well, we have been talking about women and investments, and you know, Faith has been of such fantastic input. She is an investment analyst working with Saturn Investment. Remember, they're having classes on an annual basis, so you can just follow them on social media, get to know when the next class will be, you know, starting, how long the session will be lasting. It's a 12-week program.
Yeah.
To just help you get this basic knowledge skills on what you need to just go on to that investment journey, take on that investment, put your money where your mouth is and do it safely and professionally in a way that you will not suffer at the end of the day. When you're going into any business, be sure you have the capital in mind, consider the risks involved, what returns are you going to getting, the time involved, and the end goal. Is it practical? Is it attainable? Is it realistic? Look at all that before you go into any business. So all my ladies out there, take up the challenge, break that glass ceiling and just go for it. Go for those investments that you have been wanting and just thinking about, writing in those 2 notebooks. I know we are very good at writing in those 2 notebooks. So just now work on those ideas and actualize them. Well, thank you so much, Faith, for being just a fantastic interviewee and just shedding this light in regards to women and investment. Once again, she is a Faith Miner, an investment analyst working with the Saturn Investment. They are at Saturn Investment across all the social media platforms, so get to interact with them, ask all the questions that you need to ask to just get any clarifications and confirmations on what you need. Any parting shot before we wind up the interview?
Yes, something I didn't mention is what we call the wealth management training that we offer at Saturn. So instead of you waiting for the entrepreneurship hub, which is also limited in space, we have every 2 weeks we hold a free wealth management training at our offices. And what you have to do is just go to our website, Saturn Investment, and sign up. And we have different topics every week.
Every other 2 weeks.
Every other 2 weeks.
Okay.
So you'll just choose what topic you want to attend, and then you'll be slotted for the wealth management training. And what we offer is we are able to give people training on investment. So you will be able to understand better what investment to take up, what risk is involved in this investment, how to plan for your retirement, how to plan for your death when it comes to writing wills and so on. All those things are involved. Yes. So it's a very good training and it's free of charge.
It's free.
It's free of charge. So you can always sign up and then you can attend the training.
All right. So that is the wealth management training. Happens every 2 weeks. So just follow them on social media. You'll get to know all this information, when it's happening, where it's happening. And remember, it's absolutely free. Go and learn how to prepare for the uncertain future that you have no idea how it will be. be prepared for when it comes. Well, thank you so much again, Faith Minor.
Thank you.
Remember, the conversations do continue. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya, at KBC Channel 1, at Jain Wambui, at Ramaguko, at Raymanyara, at Doreen Arange is how you can get in touch with us individually across all the social media platforms. We want to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with the next discussion, just getting to learn about life after prison. How was it transitioning? How was it getting into the society, being accepted back into the society? Do not go anywhere. Just sit tight, grab a cup of coffee or cocoa if you need to. We'll be right back after this break.